I stand by my my take that I could climb Mount Everest if I needed to within
In the water world?
18 months. I could climb Mount Everest if I had 18 months like lead time and someone to finance it. Of course, I could.
Yeah, someday you'll have the time.
I just don't think it's easy. I mean, I don't think it's hard. I don't think it's hard at all. I think it's really easy.
Really?
That'd be so funny if you died on Everest.
I mean, people do. Look, I just don't think it's hard. I think that it can be deadly, it can be dangerous, but I don't think it's hard. And I think when it is deadly and dangerous, it's sort of a weather event, and the climbing itself all seems.
A lot of them are old.
Sure, they're in bad health when they go up there because a big part of it, in my humble estimation, is the lack of oxygen and climatizing to that and dealing with that as like a mission modifier, if you will. You know, like if you were making that hike at 1,000 feet of elevation or 3,000 feet of elevation, it wouldn't be a big deal at all. Like the last step or whatever it is, but they're so high up there and they're carrying those tanks of oxygen. But even still, it seems like they're all like suffering from various forms of kind of hypoxia or whatever, like lack of oxygen to the brain are very common. And there's multiple syndromes that people suffer from where you saw in the movie, I saw
like frostbite.
one guy. Well, the one guy he gets hot and he starts tearing his clothes off because he's like in a manic state. Like he's not himself in any way because of the oxygen, like long-term low oxygen or something like that.
Did you see that Reddit guy today? His like story?
Don't think so.
Oh, shucks. I don't know if I can still find it quickly. This might take a minute or two, but there's a guy who lived an absolutely amazing life, and I think he died on Mount Everest.
Oh, I saw that. He lived a crazy life. He like kayaked solo across the ocean a bunch of times at like 72 years old. He's ripped. He looks like an Aboriginal with his beard and hair. Like he's that kind of wild man. And he like summited Kilimanjaro maybe, and then he was like, "Give me 2 minutes to like get ready to head back down," and just sat down, fell asleep, and died. It's like, what a great life. Like that's perfect. Die on the summit of Kilimanjaro.
Yeah, and I was looking for him while you were talking, but yeah, and he just kind of willingly decided it was a good time to die.
Or he just fell asleep, you know. That's what I'd say. Dude, if it was me and you up there climbing, and at the end you were begging, I would tell anybody. I'd be like, he just gently went to sleep.
He decided that was enough. He called this a win. What he wanted to do was to die on the peak of Mount Everest.
He said he wanted me to have all his money.
He wanted me and he asked that I zip his body up into his sleeping bag
and push him down the hill
and throw it off the mountain so that he would forever be here.
He wanted to be sure that any signs that this was murder were gone.
Gone.
No he said, "Have my boots that you've wanted."
I think he choked himself a lot.
Are you wearing his watch? Yes, I am. Isn't it? Oh, he's
you wanted me to have it.
Man. A generous man, would it?
You couldn't have taken his hand out of it?
Well, I couldn't work the latch, and I had my climbing axe.
It's cold up there.
Yeah, like that guy could have said anything, but I'd have come back down and be like, just gently.
Dude, I want a climbing axe. I don't want to climb, but I want to climb.
Buy a Red Rebel if you're going to do it. You would imagine. So I know that I read that one guy who's a Sherpa has done Mount Everest twice this month already, and it's like his 6th or 8th time this year.
Yeah, he's at work. Like
again, not impressive. It's not impressive. Not impressive. You tell me climb Mount Everest. Oh, cool. I run a 5K. A 5K. Yeah.
It really isn't.
So we're like,
you got to commit. You know, you got to commit. You got to train. You got to really focus. Mount Everest, not expensive though. Yeah. Not for me.
No, not for me either. I don't. It's more of I can't be bothered.
Not impressed.
Okay. What like feats like that would
swim the English Channel? I'd be blown away.
Go find the Titanic in a homemade submarine.
You swim the English Channel. Or you swim Cuba to Miami. You do one of those crazy swims like that.
I think that's 90 miles, right?
It's 90 miles. A lady did it.
No, that was the English Channel, and she was a big fat woman, right? That's a different story.
It's probably a different story. I don't know about the fat lady who swam the English Channel, which, guessing off the top of my head, is 30 miles, right?
I have 22 in my head, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm literally guessing just based on maps. So I have no number I've ever read or remember.
21 in its narrowest.
Nailed it.
Okay.
But I bet you've got to start swimming way at an angle from where you want to be, right? Because you're being swept over the course of swimming 20 miles. Like the current's got to pull you dozens of miles.
You got to swim diagonally or start on like.
I think you
That's what I'm
want to
saying.
swim
Start up-
straight, but allow just your path will be diagonal. That's how
Yeah.
I once
that's
did
smarter
really well
idea.
in a swimming competition.
Than what I said.
Just following that exact. For the lifeguard tryouts, it wasn't an interview. It was an athletic competition, and there were 70 people doing this like mile swim. You swim half mile straight out and then back, and you can see the buoy. And like 68 people lined up right in front of it, but I could see the current, and I was a surfer, so I read currents like every day. And I know I'm right, but 68 people disagree with me, and I'm like, but I know I'm right. I can see it with my own eyes. So I walked 2 blocks over all by myself, and I had a friend who was also competing, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, I can see it. The current's going this way. All these people are going to be swimming against the current. And, except me, I'm going to swim straight out and let it carry me to the buoy. And that's what I did. And I did well. I was just a kid, and everyone else was like collegiate swimmers and shit. I was out of high school, and I got 4th. So
Nice.
better than I expected.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, something like that would impress me. That Mount Everest thing, I think, is a rich guy hike. And I know people die, but they don't die because it was so hard they couldn't continue. They die because a storm came in and killed them. Like that doesn't make it hard. That makes it dangerous. I just don't think it's hard.
It still seems pretty. It's not easy.
I think it's easy. I think it's easy on the like grand scheme of like climbing K2. I would be so much more impressed.
Well, I don't want to spend too much time on Everest again because I explicitly remember not that long ago sitting here talking about it and like pulling up the Wikipedia to talk about how people died from, and like many of them were in like early retirement age.
Yeah. It's nonsense. I could easily climb Mount Everest.
I could easily beat Brock Lesnar.
I wouldn't even brag about it. I wouldn't tell people.
There's a non-zero chance Kyle's already climbed Everest and he's not telling us.
Hey, I'm just saying I might have went up last week. You don't know. You don't know. This is a green screen. I'm in Nepal right now.
Great internet.
I'm at base camp right now.
He's tethering
green
to his
screen
phone.
away, and I was there like pulled up. Oh, there we go. Oh.
Next show, you should have a tent in your green screen background.
Or my parka. I like put some makeup on so my nose is like blue and black from frostbite. Taylor, you ever watch somebody do something that's clearly just real hard, but then convince yourself I could do that if I wanted to?
Yeah, I've seen those oil rig workers where I'm like, I could do that without getting caught in the machinery immediately.
I'd last a week easy,
dude. One metal pipe just.
And they're like slapping that chain around and pulling that huge thing over, putting a new section of pipe in, and there's like shit moving everywhere that could kill, and they're just clamping it on. They got a whole rhythm to it, and then all of a sudden he lets it go, and you see go, and everybody looks down the hole at the pipe just disappeared down into the earth.
The 3,000 yards it just fell into
shit
the belly of the earth. Yeah, I think oil rig worker is the most recent video I've seen.
Well, I watched a little film last night called Everest, I think. It's about a failed expedition to summit Mount Everest. Like you've probably
was that the documentary, or was that the
Jake Gyllenhaal and like a ton of A-list actors
on the
in it.
story,
like everybody's in it. Like it's the most recent Mount Everest movie with like every good actor in it.
It's like the based on a true story type thing, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
At the end, they show you the real life people's pictures, and you're like, damn, that's good casting. Like a lot of them look a lot like the actors. It's really impressive. But dude, I think I'd climb Mount Everest if I wanted to. Because and hear me out. Hear me out. The climbing Mount Everest seems to me to be vacationing to Nepal and then having your shit carried to the base camp and then hanging out there for like 6 or 8 weeks while you acclimate to like the altitude, and then you sort of go on a really tough hike for like a day up some steep shit that's covered in ropes and pegs and guides while some people carry your shit for you and you're on oxygen. It just seems like a tough hike that you need to be a millionaire to go on.
I don't know. I just
yeah, well, the
just
guys
right
going on
now-
it are not like super mountaineers. It is like a lot of rich guys just like doing it for the sake of doing it.
That's why the deads are not impressive. It's not like the greatest mountaineers in the world. It's not like K2 like killed a bunch of people or something. It's fucking Bob the orthodontist who always dreamed of summiting. And in that movie I watched, sure enough, there's this weak fucking link. Taylor, he has bronchitis, clearly. You know that raspy cough
Yeah.
where it's like there's like clearly liquidy gunk going on. He has that the day before. The day before they're gonna go to the summit. They're
Yeah,
like,
you need
all
to
right, we're
rain
going
check.
up tomorrow. And it's like his second trip. He'd already failed once before because weather came in. And this is a guy who works 3 jobs and has been given a discount. And the school that helped him raise money back home because he's a teacher, like gave him this little flag to plant up there. So it's like, pull at your heartstrings, you know. We got to get Doug up there. That was his name, Doug. By the way, Doug don't make it.
Was his name? Yeah.
Does he make
Not
it up?
only- Oh, he makes it up. That's why
Okay.
everybody died. He was like, you can't not let me do this. And the guy was like, fuck, all right, let's try. And he like took so long getting him to the top and they died. They both died up there because of Doug. Doug in the movie, I think, goes like crazy and he's like, oh, I'm so hot. I gotta get this shit off.
I gotta take off these clothes.
And then is like, while he's fumbling to take off his parka or whatever, slides off the mountain into the abyss that is, you know, the side of Mount Everest. But
Everybody walks down. I don't wonder why there aren't more skiers or paragliders or.
I don't think it's conducive to that. And the air's thin. All right, so this is out of my wheelhouse. It's definitely into yours, but they're up there at like 4.5, 5 miles or whatever. If you jumped off with your like para gear, would you notice that the air is that much thinner in the way it
Yeah.
catches you?
Yeah, you do for sure. It makes a big difference. You have to.
You need a
run-
lot of
You
like.
need a lot more airspeed to fly when the air is that thin. I don't have any experience at 5 miles up. Like highest I've been is 2.
Yeah,
So-
all the again, I don't know anything, but like all the footage that I've seen of people climbing it, and that movie, of course, which I'm sure tried to be true to nature. It looked like a real steep hike. Like in some places, it's really steep. Like oh, it's a good thing we have ropes, but I mean, it does not look like that Alex Humboldt shit where he was doing El Capitan. Oh my God. I don't
None of
even
us
want to
think
do
we could do that.
I can't do the first 10 feet of that shit. It's like I would be so scared 20
I think-
feet up. I'd be so scared. Like let's pretend like I trained at it my whole life. I'm still so goddamn terrified of falling off that thing. I'd still be so scared looking down. I don't have the balls for that shit. Or the I don't know. I have too much acrophobia for that.
They have.
Can you show
they
that
have a
picture
list.
Vito linked? Is that
They have a list here of everybody who died on Everest and like when
Mhm.
they did. Way more Nepalese people than you would think. Like I thought it was going to be
Yeah.
like mostly Americans and like French people or Russians or whatever, but yeah, a lot of these.
I just don't see how
Even
this
the
is
people from
special
Nepal.
anymore. It's like
Nope.
now it's just like waiting in line for like a Disneyland ride.
Yep.
Yeah, this-
It was cool
kind of-
when you were like, "Hey, I'm one of the 5 guys who did this," and now it's just
Look
like,
at their gear.
yeah,
Do you
you know,
think
these
anybody
bored
out there is even
millionaires.
cold? Do you think they're even
No.
chilly?
This really
Look like-
ruins the magic of it.
Yes. I think they
There's a
lose
guy in the
fingers
middle
and
with a
noses
thermos full of
all
hot
the time.
cocoa for everyone.
Look at this. The sun's
If
out.
there's
Bunch
not
of
hot
liners.
cocoa, then I'm lying. I guarantee that guy. You see him, the guy carrying the big barrel of hot cocoa for everybody, right back there. So
How do you
these
get
people
back?
are probably
I see a
Carefully.
one-lane
they
road.
just turn around and go back, right?
But like,
But does everyone have to get to the top first, and they all turn around?
if
up
you're
there?
at the top, how do you even turn around? Like, how?
so, I am guessing, but I think we could definitely know that there isn't like a stop up there where everybody has to do a turnaround.
Yeah.
I bet they're going to like a flat area where everybody can spread back out, maybe, or something like that, like another camp. There's multiple camps on the way up the mountain where they're
It
just
tells you
stopping and
where,
chilling.
It tells you where everybody died in the list. It says like their nationality, their age, their name, and then where they died. And apparently, what is it? The Khumbu Icefall, Khumbu. Let me link this to Zach so he can show the photo. This is where a lot of people die. They fall
I
into
haven't
one of
seen it,
these
but my guess is
crevices.
it's going to look
A
easy to do.
crevasse.
a crevasse indeed. It's
It
that
is pretty
picture,
cool that they can't get the bodies off the mountain, so you just go up and you're like, that's that guy that died like 15 years ago. Just
Oh my
throw him up
God.
at
there.
least like
So-
kind of roll them down a little every time. Like that way you kind
great
of
idea.
clean it up.
Everyone
Do
just
you
pull everybody 6 feet.
Yeah.
A few years ago, the first, I think
There
it
it
might have
is.
been a woman, but there was a person who summited Everest that was a double amputee. I don't think they had legs. But they got a lot of flack because it turned out they had passed by someone who was incapacitated on the way up and left them. And I think that person died.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's always stories like that where it's like, they're like, yeah, but I was climbing the mountain. And you're like, what is the point of this for you fucking people?
Yeah. This looks
I am
I'm
80%
gonna
sure
die.
I can
Yeah,
do that.
but
I am more
this is
sure
my
that I can do
moment.
that than I am that I could attack a shark. And I'm pretty sure I can attack a shark.
I
mean,
would
you could
definitely
attack a
rather
shark.
climb Everest than fight a shark.
You could attack a polar bear.
Yeah,
I had this
attack
idea
anything,
for a
Kyle.
YouTube video called the Shark Attack, and the idea was that sharks, that whole, for millennia, sharks have attacked man. Time to turn the tables on nature's greatest predator tonight. And like the idea was we'd like chum the shark up, and he'd be out there all mean and angry, biting onto some fish heads or whatever, and I would jump on his ass from above, wearing like a shark-proof chainmail suit,
Yeah.
and I would have.
wow, so you're not
each
even
hand-
confident in your skills.
And each
Yeah.
hand, I've got like an ice axe, and I'm going to hook into his back right away and dig my spurs in, which I finally get. And I'm going to like ride the shark down.
Dude,
below
episode
the wave.
1, you missed the shark sink like a stone because you're wearing chainmail.
Kyle was lost in the deep.
that would be a good video.
in its first and final episode.
Imagine I'm like on his back like fucking Aquaman, except the shark hates it.
Shark would hate it. Shark would
It just-
fuck your ass up.
I don't think so, because here's the thing: a shark has never been attacked in that manner from above. And if it has, I bet it ran. I bet it ran because it's fucking what the fuck? That monkey just jumped on my back. Never seen that one before. Why does he have Red Rebel ice picks? God, he must be great at Tarkov.
Checkmate.
Checkmate.
Damn,
That's
some
it.
of these people die at like Camp 1, Camp 2. That's
That's gotta be
really
embarrassing.
embarrassing.
Check their ages though. That's probably
What
like-
happened? Yeah, I
A
drank
lot
some
of
bad tea.
a lot of 40s, 50s, and 60s on this list. That's almost all of it. Like
I'm not
a
impressed
30
if you
here or
climbed
there.
Mount Everest. If you told me you climbed some other impressive mountain that I'd heard of, like K2 or El Capitan, if you told me you did that, I would be wildly impressed. But that to me looks like rich guy hiking weekend. And if you don't plan the weather just right, you die. But they're not dying because they're like, the climb is so difficult, or like, oh, your grip wasn't right. They're dying because they got led into a storm, it seems like every single time.
17 people died last year on Everest.
Pussies. How many made it?
I don't know, way
Oh,
more
like
than that.
4,000,
4,000,
man.
Yeah,
It's like a
probably
fucking.
thousands of people.
It's so stupid.
I bet the death rate on Everest is lower than the surrounding area.
Yeah.
It's actually you're actually more likely.
Can't
to
you
live
be
longer
like
if you're
normal
summiting Everest.
bored?
Around
like-
800 survive a year.
Okay.
Just be like
so-
normal bored rich people and open a sex island and trap women there. Like that's at least something's going on.
That's got to
Climb a
be
mountain.
wild to be on your Everest expedition and some guy falls into what the Hillary Step or whatever, one of these portions,
Mhm.
and then it's like, oof, onward and upward.
Sucks for that
like,
guy.
let's keep going. This is kind of, man, my afternoon's ruined.
Man,
I
when
took
they
time
say
off for
deep,
this.
they mean it, huh? You hear how long that guy was screaming on the way down?
Yeah. Just-
Yeah, we heard you, man. We got
This
it.
is like when Gandalf was fighting the Balrog. God
Dude, there's
damn,
a-
world down there or some shit.
Should have rode the Eagles up here, huh?
Holy fuck!
Dude, it says whether or not their bodies were recovered. Like it.
They don't recover the
In the
bodies. It's a
columns.
waste of time.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, we're not dragging
Yeah.
the motherfucker
And
down.
honestly, all right,
Guy died in the hospital. He
bet,
shouldn't be on the list.
I bet if you were so into Mount Everest that you go there and you did it until you died, your family's like, John always said, leave him up there. He wants to be part of the mountain. Like I think if my thing was climbing mountains and this was the 7th peak and I was going to be the master of the world or whatever, I'd be
Yeah.
like, yeah, if I die up there, leave me up there. I want to be part of the mountain forever. That would be an honor.
Hear me out.
Dude,
I'm diagnosed with a fatal condition. I decide to climb Mount Everest. I get about 2/3 up. I sit down. I look at where all the people are coming, and I make a funny face. And then just stay that way.
Get out your AR-15 and you say, no one's coming up.
We must continue. We're approaching
You
the
want-
nude man. And then you just be sitting there.
You're just completely naked and you're up there and you're
End of
permanently
time.
frozen, like, hey! I'm like, oh, fuck.
But you've
guy.
body painted something about Denny's because they paid you $2 million.
Right? I wear one of those outfits that little Nas guy was
Yeah.
wearing.
We're approaching the chili anytizers. Point.
That's the
Always
other
a good
thing.
time for apps.
That's the other thing. Zach, can you find a picture of how trashy that base camp is and how trashy Everest is? Because
they're not
even in that
taking good care of
movie, there was like rappers everywhere and bullshit.
Oh, yeah, they said there's like just a ton of trash on the mountain now. Because
Garbage, just garbage.
Leave it everywhere.
Yeah,
Dude,
I don't
this
So
think
you're
list,
climbing
you
a
can-
giant trash heap and you might die and be your corpse is there forever as a warning to every other rich idiot.
They
Cool.
have the names of the companies that run the expeditions as one of the columns in this table. That and so like you'll go down and then you'll see like 3 on the same date. And it's like April 12th, 2023. Imagine Nepal was the company. And all 3 of these people fell into the Sarak collapse. All Nepalese.
I
if
definitely
that's
like
what
this
they're called.
idea. Like companies should run it. Like, yeah, we're the 4th deadliest.
Yeah.
You
Go ahead.
can-
They do.
Wikipedia. Do you
in
see
the
our
movie,
name
that's
there?
what they're talking about. In the movie, like his like partner or wife, or I think it's his, I don't know which, maybe both, is down at the base camp, and she's saying, "I hope this isn't going to be another year where we don't get anyone to the summit, because they're
they have a
competing with
pressure,
one
like,
another. Like
yeah.
you want to be able to say,
Metrics
last
are looking
year
bad.
we had 50
got
people to
60
try,
guys to the
we
top,
got
yeah.
30 of them up, 4 deaths, only 4. So like you want." They're going to shop you against the other guy. And they're gonna be like, we didn't lose anybody, and
Mhm.
like you'd have to like take your others. There'd be price
Can
differences.
you imagine
too.
bargain hunting at Everest? And you're like, well, they only killed like 10 guys.
That's what that guy was
that's not that
doing,
many.
Doug. The guy in that movie. That's
Yeah.
that's part of probably why he died, among others.
Dude, anyone out there, you got to be
like,
wary
"Thanks for
of
the discount."
Imagine Nepal and Pioneer Adventure. Because
That was the one, Pioneer Adventure. I think
there's a
that might
lot
have
of
been-
dead.
that rings a bell. Yeah, I watched the movie last night. It was tremendous. I enjoyed it a lot.
This is your guide, Uktuk the Tourist Slayer. Why do they call him that? That's a name.
They call him Uktuk the Indifferent.
Uktuk the Indifferent.
The
I
merciless.
need to go back down. Hey.
Damn, whole bunch of people died in 2014, all on April 18th. But there's
That-
a Wikipedia
Well, there was a
page for
big-
that.
there was an
it is called the
avalanche one
2014 Mount Everest.
Was it the avalanche? Yeah. There's
All
videos
people-
of that
All people
Like,
from
people just got-
Nepal.
buried.
Yeah.
I wouldn't guess so many people from Nepal are getting killed on Everest. I feel like they're just built for it.
I think when an avalanche hits, it doesn't really matter your
I
national.
mean, they're
Yeah,
already
true.
there.
the snow just.
But there's a ton of
you-
them that are
You
not.
can imagine if it was like a local flavor. To us, Mount Everest is that thing on the other side of the planet. You got to pay all this money to do. To them, it's like Six Flags. They just go.
Ooh, there was a couple deaths in 2015 led by the first Chinese women Everest expedition.
They didn't make it.
Now, I don't see any more of them below the list. I assume that's because that organization folded.
Well, women are actually good mountain climbers. That's one of the things that they excel at. They're good at climbing. I think they
I
do
don't
deal better
believe
with.
that.
I think they do
You're
better
trying
with
to
the,
suggest we women are good at something.
yeah, I
They're
think
better
they're
than
better.
us.
They
It's
because
posh.
they use less oxygen, they require less oxygen, and their weight to upper body strength ratio. They're good at climbing. There's not a lot of like chin ups climbing Mount Everest. There's a lot of hiking though, and they're really good at that.
Yeah, but
In that
anyone
movie
who's
I
fit
watched, there was a
can be
Japanese woman. It was like she had climbed every mountain in the world. This was the last one, and sure enough, she makes it to the top, plants that fucking flag, and gets out. She ain't hanging around for them white people. Later on, when everybody's dying, everybody's dying on the mountain, and it's like, can you go back up? And the guy's like injecting himself with like literally with anti-inflammatories and trying to go back. No one asked that Japanese chick. She disappeared.
Yeah, like a ghost.
I see you
back
later.
down
What
to
man?
base camp.
Go down mountain.
People are losing their noses, losing their toes, going back up, trying to be heroic and like bring Bob back down.
Man, there's a guy from Bolivia and
just like that.
Brazil.
She was gone.
They went all that way to die. That sucks. They spent money to die.
Come on, that's your dream. You get that though, right?
I get a dream. I don't get this as a dream, especially if there's a whole Wikipedia page about all the, because if someone invited me and was like, you want to go to Everest?
Yeah.
It's like, no, I don't want to. I'm going to end up on that list. I'm
Really?
going to die. Yeah,
I would take
we'll get chili.
I think if
and
I was
I'll give
offered a
up.
free trip,
You take a free trip to Everest?
I think if I was offered a free trip, I would devote myself to like getting physically up to that and do it because it is a pretty short list of people.
I
even
guess
if
I
they
don't
do-
want to do it. I would rather go somewhere prettier and more like a comfortable climate and hike around. Like I'd rather go to Yellowstone.
It's a
and
1 day
look around.
hike. It's about the achievement to me. Like
No,
I know we've been making fun of it, but it is the highest mountain in the world. Like if you gave me that for free, like I'm not gonna not do that.
I'm pretty sure. It's
Why not
multiple days.
get on one of these? What do you call it? SpaceX things. Go to space.
Oh,
one
I do
day.
that.
You-
I do that
Yeah,
too.
but isn't that better? It don't. Doesn't being at the top
That's
of
not
the
an
mountain
achievement, though.
not matter anymore when you can go to space?
Yeah, but you didn't do
Why is it
anything
not an
to achieve.
achievement because you didn't walk to space?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so if
What
I
are you
set
gonna
up
sit
a,
in
if
my
I set up
back
a walking
seat?
bridge to space, that's what you want.
Yes.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
How about we get you into space and there's a treadmill up there and you can walk around and pretend?
That would be fun.
That'd be
Better
fun.
than Everest.
I do any of those things. Yeah, I would definitely do that. I genuinely believe I wouldn't have any trouble doing it. Like it's not like the people who are doing that are 25-year-old professional athletes. It's dentists.
Yeah, I'd want to go to space if I had like a huge amount of control over what our elevation was in the craft.
I saw this fucking it was really cool. This video of it was Everest, and it's this woman kind of freaking out, and some guys like telling her to, like stop freaking out. But then they're climbing Everest, and like someone's sliding down because they've like passed out, and they're sliding down the mountain. Like I saw that video a couple months ago, I think, on Twitter. But yeah,
they're
people
dead,
die
you
climbing.
think?
Oh yeah. There was one guy up there that I think they just called him like green boots or something because he
Yeah.
froze to death,
Oh.
and he's just they
Mhm.
can't get him off. He's frozen to the mountain.
Well,
it's
I mean,
too
nobody
dangerous to
wants
get.
them either.
Yeah,
He's
Too
apparently
dangerous to get
Green
there.
Boots is an important landmark.
yeah.
Like,
So
everyone
like
knows where
people,
he is.
people want to challenge themselves. People want to explore. I mean, if they die, they die. So.
That seems like a
I don't buy that you can't get the bodies or clean if you wanted to. Like, I feel
course
like
not.
people are always like, I got other things to do. I'm
all you have
trying
to do
to
is pay
climb
the
Everest.
Sherpas. Like you don't even have to do it. You just have to show up there with enough money to pay Sherpas to instead of hauling 200 pounds of gear, take a trash can with you and come back with it full,
Yes. Yeah, there are people who do that for a living and
or burn that
probably
shit. Why
don't
aren't they
care
just
very
burning it?
much.
Take 20 gallons of fuel up there, pile that shit up, and melt it. I don't think there's going to be an environmental impact. Let's just melt it down right up there. It'll go up
I
next-
just
it's
imagine
close to you're on Mount Everest. It's
Closer
going to
to
make
the sun.
stars instantly.
That all right, that's a solid point.
Why do we want the bodies removed? Like, it's kind of a good reminder. Of
I
what
was
you're
thinking more the
doing, right?
garbage.
yeah,
It's a lot
it's
of-
a good. Just
Yeah.
skulls everywhere as you get
Yeah,
up the
it makes
Everest.
it not even skulls, just like frozen, dead-eyed, glassy faces. Just
Mhm.
like some guy like in mid-screen.
Oh yeah, I
as
guess
you're
there wouldn't
walking
be
by.
skulls. 'cause
I
it'd
just
be all-
passed the screaming child. We're almost to the top.
I wonder what their bodies look like up there. I bet they're pretty well
they're very
preserved.
preserved. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think yeah, there wouldn't even be skulls. I don't think.
Well,
It'd just be
freezer
super
burn, but-
preserved. Yeah.
Yeah, they get that thing where it's like the skin's still there, but it's like
Mhm.
like the lips
like-
are like black and like burned and like freezer burned.
It'd
Yeah.
probably look like wax, I'd imagine, but I've never seen a frozen dead body. So
Yeah, I've only seen frozen dead bodies. I went on a big
I'm
like
looking at one right
Wikipedia,
now.
YouTube rabbit hole where I just was like reading lists and like reading everyone who's died on Everest and
Mhm.
like the pictures of them, and then some of them are like, "That's Orange Belt." We don't know who Orange Belt is, and no one's ever turned him over. So we're never going to
Mm.
know who Orange Belt is.
These bodies are not as attractive as I expected.
No,
Well,
not
gonna be
sexy at all,
attractive.
huh?
They're dead.
Well, I mean, I'd do them, but it's hard.
Gross.
it'd be tough.
Freezing.
It'd be one of my tougher ejaculates.
Like
But-
dude, that sub, I've been thinking so much about that sub thing of like I know me that I wouldn't have got on that craft to go
No way.
50
no way.
feet down. Like I'm
So
not
cramped.
saying that I'm terrified of like the idea of it. If it was Gabe Newell's one and I saw that, I'd be like, I'm comfortable with this. Oh, there's YouTube videos I can find of this thing doing what we're about to do successfully. Like, okay, let's do that. This
That's all
other
it
thing,
takes.
yeah. Like I'd go down a little bit, and I don't want to go all the way down.
What
to
if
the
this guy had a
bottom of the
YouTube
sea.
video? Like he probably did, right? But this wasn't the maiden voyage, was it?
They had never had a successful voyage this far.
I
Like,
thought
they
they've been
did-
going up and down for years.
Not that
All
Some
far.
guy on
down.
Reddit said he had done it a few times, and they lost communication every time he did it. But I mean, it's the guy on Reddit. I don't know.
Yeah, it's also it's a guy on Reddit,
Yeah.
It's the guy who found the Boston bomber.
Well, I would much rather go to like space than although $250,000 to go down the Titanic is a lot different than what was
I don't
it
know.
to
I'd
fly
like
up
to
on
see
the
animals.
Soyuz back in the day. The Russians were charging 20 million, I think. 10,
that's
20
a
million,
lot.
something like that. Yeah, to go up in to the International
nothing
Space
to see
Station.
in space. Like at least going down in the ocean, you're gonna see like all the cool, or hopefully you'll see cool deep fish and stuff you don't see otherwise.
I'm on the other
Uh,
team, Taylor. I think in the ocean, your visibility is like 6 feet, even with good light.
I was gonna say, I
And-
think space has aliens too, man. Like,
And in
aliens are
space,
out
your
there.
visibility is like a
Yeah,
million miles.
But what
Yeah.
else can you look at up there?
Aliens.
The Earth,
Look at the other
stars, the
planets,
moon.
stars.
The Earth, and then you go, man, that's nice. What else you got up here? And you're like, shit. 3 minutes in, and he's asking what else we have. You know,
I saw this from my parents.
You already clogged the shitter.
honestly, the photoshopped pictures NASA posts on Twitter are way better. This looks like shit. Like getting mad that it's
Yeah.
not as good as the Photoshop
That-
NASA picture.
the-
This
the
sucks.
You brought your binoculars, Woody. Now you can see 35 times larger than before. So now it's only 1 trillion miles away. Okay, great.
Yeah, you stare into the blackness of space. Wow, neat.
I wouldn't say I've almost died exploring, but I did go on a really remote, like wilderness hike to this big waterfall, and brought my camera with me, like a professional deal, and nearly dropped it. And in my haste to grab the camera, because it's fucking expensive, I slipped. The camera's fine, but I slipped and fell, and like fell on a rock, like just feet went out from under me, back hit the rock, and I was like this close from hitting my head, pretty close. Slipped, fell into the waterfall, like ravine or whatever, and started like floating down the river. And I'm like, oh shit, this is not good. But I could have, I'm out there alone, nothing out there, nobody for miles. So it
Yeah, you would have been on
really
first
bad.
48.
Yeah, and after that, I'm like, well, I'm gonna,
I shouldn't be alive.
yeah, it's
I
all
shouldn't
good.
get
be
afraid.
alive.
I was that close that if I knocked myself out, could have drowned. Like
Yeah.
That would have been
That's the
such a
worst thing.
terrible way to die.
yeah.
What if-
Like, I just mean, I don't mean like the experience of dying that way. I mean like falling down and dying in such a meaningless way.
yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think a lot of us get to have some go out with a bang Marvel movie ending. I think.
Mhm.
I mean, you could arrange that. You could head over to Ukraine. Like you make that happen now.
I'm gonna build a wildly unsafe submarine when I'm like 80. That's how I'm gonna go.
it's just
What are
a
you going to be
box.
exploring though? Like what's the gimmick? What are you going down there to look for?
I'm going to explore the wreckage of the Titan.
It's just a chain of people dying over and over. I'm gonna
Like,
explore
wow,
the wreckage
this
that
is-
explored the Titan.
It's like, I don't
But you're
think
not
it's
a
gonna
billionaire,
work.
so one rowboat.
We can't find the sub. We sit in to find the sub. We sit in to find the sub.
I've got a hefty bag over the windows, like it's like someone's car without insurance.
Taylor just goes, "No, it's okay. I'm the sub guy. Just
I'm
turn
the
it into
sub guy.
I'm the
I
sub
watched
guy."
a YouTube video, and this is the strongest PVC they sell in the for sale aisle
What is
at
the-
Lowe's.
How strong does PVC hold up against?
I mean,
It's
a
strong,
couple
but
hundred
not enough
pounds.
for- yeah, not enough
It's,
for a
it's,
sub.
it's, I did some plumbing.
I mean,
It's
water's
pretty strong.
regularly like 150 psi in places. Like
Hmm.
so, way beyond that. All right, I'm gonna guess 800 psi for like 1-inch PVC.
600 is my guess. Ooh, 300 to 600.
Yeah, there you go.
Facts.
Facts. Now I know. For
What about
Yeah.
CPVC?
Yeah, what about it? What? No, don't look it up.
It's the same thing, but for heat. I don't know if it's stronger or not. That's what CVPC is, right?
Well, we'll
For
get to
heat?
the bottom of it.
all right.
He shouldn't get smacked with littering.
I feel like he should cop to just littering.
He just
It's like
You know what? You
banana-
caught me on the littering. The rest I'm
It's-
clean.
It's like when you toss a banana peel out of your window or something into a field. It's like that's compost. Come on,
Mhm.
you
It
take a
is.
tomato off your burger, toss
I
it in the
actually
parking
do
lot.
subscribe to that theory. Like, you don't see me throwing like cups or bags or anything out the window, but an apple core, I'll toss
No big
that.
deal.
Yeah.
And that's totally true. Like I think that's even the law. You can throw bits of food out. Like
I don't
like
know.
on the
But
side of the
have you-
road.
have you
Like a
guys
little
never,
deer's
like-
gonna love it.
Have you
Thank
guys
you,
never
Paul.
like hiked to the top of some like super like cool like trail with like an overlook or something, and everyone's had that same thought, and there's like a pile of orange peels here, a banana peel there, an apple core there, and
It sounds to
everyone's
me like
fucking-
you should have thrown them off the edge.
I mean,
No.
I wouldn't mind that much. Like,
Actually-
I wouldn't like to see Dorito bags.
There's
But if
a-
it's like a banana peel, it's like some animal's gonna eat that.
There's a thing, like they taught us when we hiked in Yosemite, that over a certain elevation, it turns over really slowly. Like that's why there's no firewood there, because those shitty little tiny trees that you could go like this to take 15 years to grow. Whereas here, they take 2. And yeah, so anyway, you throw your orange peels in the wrong place, like at the top of a mountain, like Filthy said, it might stick around.
Am I supposed to carry around my banana peels and apple cores like an asshole all day?
Yes,
Ye-
yes, you are.
Oh, well,
the
okay.
zero trace stuff. You're supposed to like hike in what you hike out, or
I
hike out
leave a
what you hike in.
trace.
Take only pictures, leave only footprints.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I guess I've never hiked to a high enough peak that there are banana peels sitting there like those Everest climbers. Have you ever seen those creepy photos where it's like this guy died in 1971 and like his boots are pristine. It looks like he just fell asleep. But you know if you like pulled back that like parka or whatever the fuck
Yeah,
he was
that
wearing.
wouldn't
Dude.
apply today. They'd have to hike him out.
I don't know
still-
about that. I think they
There's still
break
so
the rules.
many of them up there.
Here's what
dispose of
happens
him
to
there.
me. They'll be like, this guy died in 1985. This guy died in 1991, and I'm like, oh yeah. I think I had that coat in middle school, and then I remember my neon phase in 1991. Like I had that coat in high school.
You,
and-
you think
And you know what the worst is that like that guy from 1976 and 1985, they were there when 1992 guy was shivering. He's like, fuck, I'm looking right into the future. Nobody's coming. They didn't even come get these bodies. Like that's gotta be the worst feeling.
think-
And you've got how much regret do you have as you die on Everest? Watching like Woody said, a guy with parachute pants on, and then a guy with a frozen mullet, you know, and then you're there, you know, in your Jeanco jeans over your or whatever the hell you're wearing. Oh, don't hike mountains.
You think the Nepalese government hits their widows up with like a littering fine?
I mean, they're poor as fuck, so they're
Probably.
probably trying to do whatever they can. I think
Depends if
Nepal's
they're
like
foreigners or not. I think you get a pass if you're native.
I don't think the natives fiddle fuck around up there that high, right?
Yeah, they absolutely do. Those are
Oh.
the guys who are carrying your shit up the mountain.
they're the best at fucking around
Yeah.
that high. Are you not aware of Sherpas?
I knew they were good. I didn't know that like independently they would just go to the peak though. I didn't.
I think they're like porn stars and fighters. Like they only do it for the money.
Well, if they can do it, you know, more power to them. Sounds like an awful job.
Yeah,
Leading a bunch of fat Americans who are like, "Oh, I'm on a survival
That's
mission." And they're
exactly
like,
it. These Americans are like, I'm like the first to go up the south side. Meanwhile, some asshole carried all your shit for you, you know. And they actually have separate like world records. Like I'm the first white man to do this because the natives they just do it like it's no big deal.
No black men so far, but someday. Get one.
Are we done with this guy's photo? Like, did they
No,
catch
we
him
have to-
mid-moment with this fucking photo? Like, was this
Right.
actually as he was shitting on the field? Because I mean, look at that face, man. I can't get over that mugshot.
Because I'd want to see what stuff looked
You
like.
get no control.
Yeah, I know I don't get any control. I'm saying like this is 200 years in the future when everybody gets up there. It's fucking a day trip, and they put you in a pod, and you can kind of peek around. Like I'd want to go way up
I'd
super
want
high,
to go to space
and then I'd want to go way
provided I
down.
had nothing to do with controlling the ship. That's critical. If
Hey,
they put
Captain!
me in charge.
I got this.
Yeah, I when I had a baby, they asked me to cut the umbilical cord, and it's like, me?
Nah.
Jesus Christ, this is a hospital. There's doctors all over.
Yeah.
And you want me?
It's gonna be
You
just
pull out
like
your
that.
Gladius.
my Leatherman.
It's gonna be just like that Titanic sub, man. They're gonna hand you the Xbox controller, and you gotta pilot your way around.
Okay, I guess I would want it in more of like a go-kart, like a kid's go-kart place where I have a little bit of free
In
reign, but they can
space.
pull me back in just in case. Because I'd want to see how mountains and like the topography of the planet looked at wildly different elevations. Like, oh, I'm at this height now, and now I can like I can see that river. Oh, let me look at the little map. Oh, that's the Nile River. That's really cool. Let's go higher up. How high do I have to get until I can't see that at all?
Google Earth.
No, but like you'd be up there. You could look.
That's an airplane.
Yeah,
you
but
just
no, you
run
can't
the-
see anything
you want
fucking
an
cool
airplane.
from the airplane.
You want a personal hovercraft, and you want to go up and down and see the elevation of rivers.
Not just rivers, all of it.
Oh,
I'd want to get high enough that I could see the lines in between the countries.
cool.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
That's what I want to do.
I think I'd want to float around in zero gravity. I'm not like, man, I gotta see
I'm
what
just
that
saying
mountain
that
looks like at a
as
certain
it
height.
stands right now,
Yeah.
I don't feel like going to space you'd even get much out of it. Like it's so early in the beginning of it. Like there's no way
Well,
there's
did you
that much
see when
cool.
Shatner went to space?
Here's
And it
what I
was
would
supposed to be
see.
like this big PR thing, like about
Yeah,
how
we
great
talked about
space
that.
is. And then it was just like, man, that was the most depressing fucking thing in my life.
Why,
Yeah,
was,
because
why
like-
didn't you
yeah.
like it?
Space sucks.
He said
He's like,
that
because
he
you
stared
look at
off-
Earth, like it's the loneliest. We're just on a rock in the middle of nothingness. Oh
He
my god!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking crisis
something
up
about-
there.
He said something about staring out into the
That would be
empty
sad.
void of it all and realizing how truly alone we were or something. But here's what I would get out of it. Here's the reasons I would want to go to like the space station, for example. First of all, you're going so goddamn fast, Taylor, once you're up there. Like, I don't know, like thousands of miles per second or some shit. That would be cool. Just like, yeah, I went 20,000 miles per fucking hour. It was me in outer space. I'm one of the fastest human beings of all time. There's only been 87 human beings have ever gone as fast as I've gone. That would be fucking cool. Also, the zero G weightlessness of just like being a kid and doing like spinning barrel roll cartwheel type things in zero gravity and goofing
No, you
around.
can do that on a
So
plane.
much fun.
I've seen
Okay,
him- I've seen
NASA
him do that.
research plane for brief periods of time when they do loop-de-loops. I'm talking about chilling up there with a bottle of water and squirting little orbs of zero G water at myself and like playing with Jello, doing it for a day or two up there. That would be so fucking cool.
Yeah, okay, that would be cool.
And seeing the Earth from that point of view, that again, only like a few dozen people have ever seen, like looking down and seeing it all, like the whole world from right there through that window would be really.
It sounds cool. But
I
also know
would like
me,
that.
And there's 100% chance that I would make some zero G vomit as I'm up there in
Oh.
space.
Well, there's a
turning
vomit bag
around
for that.
Upside down. There better be a vomit vacuum or something. I'm not sure if that bag gets it done.
You got to use the same thing they put their dicks in to pee. No, buddy, don't use that. That's the cum one.
I thought it was salty.
You look at it, it's an asshole.
Man, this astronaut ice cream tastes weird. No, Woody, no. Not as chocolatey as I hoped.
But I wouldn't want to be up there long. Like I wouldn't want to do
Day trip.
Days.
like
It fucks
a
up your
few
bones.
days.
That's the weirdest thing. Like the
Yeah,
guys who are
over
on the International
time.
Yeah.
Space Station,
Do they get
they,
taller?
all their
No,
they
they,
get
I think
weak.
they get weak bones.
But I think they do get taller though, because like their bones start floating away from each other.
Yes.
Like,
I've heard
well,
that.
like you're losing like the cartilage between your bones because your bones are no longer, this constant downward force on your bones keeping everything together. Like all your limbs are just floating out there.
Yeah.
I'm
Back
serious.
it straight.
They get less dense because you're not, continuously putting that stress on your bones like you do your muscles that they heal back from. You're getting very less dense
Very
bones,
weak.
and you're also
Yeah.
getting weak as shit.
Your bones
Um,
could lengthen like a belter.
No,
Says
not
NASA's
like that.
found
Those
the height of astronauts increases approximately 3% over your 4 days, your first 4 days in space. So you
That's
start
pretty good.
Your height starts going up because your bones are floating away, like they're no longer compressing downward.
Yeah.
yeah. Especially if you go to the
Makes sense.
chiropractor first.
You go to the chiropractor
spine
and then you double up on your
You go to
lengthiness.
space. You get chiropractor then space. They stretch you out and then you never go back.
Yeah, but then you're going to come back to Earth and very quickly, like, go back to Earth size.
I mean, I guess so. I don't know how the science works on that one. But one of the things that turns me off is like the whole bathroom and like shower situation up there. Like I saw an astronaut be like, "This is how we shampoo," and it's like this shampoo that you don't take out. You just rub this goo in your hair, and you're like, "All done." And it's like, I'll shave my head. Where do we shave our heads at? Where do
This
we
device
back-
is for make believing that we're clean.
Dude, it takes
Yeah.
one
I rubbed
stinky
sand in my
guy.
hair and then
to
just
ruin
pretend it was dry
everybody's time.
shampoo.
Oh my
I
god!
think it's a lot of moist towelettes.
A lot of moist towelettes.
and
Alan.
shitting.
That's my
Shitting
camping
and
move.
pissing into that bag every time, or not bag, but like that vacuum situation, whatever. Like
Yeah.
all that seems so awkward. I can't imagine living up there for months at a time, especially the way we do it. And it's not even that sci-fi bullshit where you can kind of move around and there's plenty of elbow room. Like they're in a little closet up there. That thing is tiny.
The whole crew would come back traumatized. Like Woody masturbates a lot.
Woody, use the vacuum bag. It'll make its way back to me.
Well, at least look out the window while you're here. Like,
You'd have to shoot a lock and load commercial for us while you were up there.
Woody, we're going on a spacewalk. I'm doing stuff. Come on.
yeah, he was looking at porn on his phone the whole fucking time.
You're supposed to be monitoring the oxygen levels. You're over there jerking it.
I wonder. The astronauts don't talk about it. I wonder if jerking off in space feels great. I wonder what that's like.
I bet it's a mess.
I was thinking sex would be a problem because most of my techniques involve gravity.
Yeah. Like
No, you Velcro that bitch to the wall. She's in trouble.
You Velcro her.
Have they ever confirmed anyone had sex in space? Like,
I don't talk about that. I don't talk about that. 100%. I bet Leonardo DiCaprio flies up there and fucks ladies all the time.
Has,
you think he does?
He's probably got a spaceship. Yeah. If he doesn't have one, he knows someone that does.
He is cool, and I like him, so I bet he has.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Leo.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
He's got good. I like his style.
You like his style? What else does he? I don't know anything else about him.
He fucks. I know he unapologetically and rides around on his yacht. They'll write a whole they'll do like 30 articles about how dirty old man Leonardo DiCaprio is, and they'll just like find a new one and buy a new yacht and go fuck her on it.
Everyone was talking about Charlie Sheen and his tiger blood. DiCaprio's over there living the life for real.
Yeah,
what do they call themselves? It was like Leonardo DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire, and a couple other guys. They're called like the Pussy Posse or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, it was
Tobey
Leo,
Maguire. I didn't guess that.
Jake Gyllenhaal, and Donald Trump.
Yeah, Tobey Maguire. No, there was that film they made. What was it? The something's Peach or something.
Spider-Man.
No, it was like before.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
No, they made this like weird little like indie film that was just like them hanging out at a diner and talking about like fucking chicks, and then the guy who made it, like all of a sudden, Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire like blew up, and their agents were like, "If that film ever comes out, it's gonna ruin you." And the guy's like, well, we shot the film. I have the footage. I'm going to put it out. Like, I invested all my money in making it. And they sued the shit out of him so they couldn't distribute the movie. And it's just young Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire talking about slaying puss.
See, they should have bought the
movie. I think it finally came out somewhere, but it's like 20 years after the fact.
About the gun Olympic stuff.
Okay. I'll tell you what I know.
Those are the least cool guns I've ever seen. And they seem to be shooting like a version of a bullet that would never be used in anything but shooting at an Olympic target. What do you think about that? Do you think that's a good true test of a marksman?
Well, there's different events. It depends what you're watching. I think there might even be a pellet rifle, like an air rifle event that you could have even been seeing.
I saw the pistol with the Turk.
I mean, that's a cool fucking gun, dude. Like, look at that thing. I don't even know what that is. I genuinely have no idea what that is.
Could you use that functionally for anything other than?
I think that's an air rifle. Like, maybe is that an air rifle?
I feel like you're acting like the bullet's not lethal. It must be.
Nah, I shrugged that right off. No, it would still kill you, but I don't know.
Not with style. There's style there.
I mean, I saw the 3-gun thing that Potato was doing in the Hangout, and I've seen other people who are into guns in the Hangout do that, and that's just so much cooler of a shooting competition than this.
Oh, this is the meme though.
Yes.
So the chick on the right is South Korean, and she was the biggest news story I saw on Reddit because she had all this crazy gear she's wearing. In her left eye, she's got something obviously just blanking out her vision. In her right, she's got something fucking cueing it in on her sight so she can only look a certain way, and she looks like RoboCop out there with her fucking gun.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next day, Turkey sent this dude, and this dude genuinely has nothing. He just it doesn't look like he's wearing any ear protection, which would be badass.
He is
he's wearing
ear
foamies.
protection. Yeah,
but I think he's wearing foamies.
That guy's shooting like he has to pick someone up in an Uber at the airport in 20 minutes. Just real quick, casual.
He looks disappointed in his target. He's like, I didn't want to have to do this.
He has that my kids wore out my patience face while he's shooting.
I think that might be my best guess is that what you just showed and maybe that first crazy robot gun are air rifles. And I only say that because they have that black cylinder underneath them that to me says maybe a compressed air chamber. But I genuinely have no fucking clue. That looks like a pellet pistol to me.
Are you allowed to hold it with 2 hands?
I don't know anything about Olympic shit, but what I've seen is nobody uses 2 hands, and they definitely would if they could.
I've seen a lot of people with their hands in their pocket. Maybe it's like a a detraction of points or deduction if you touch it with two hands. I don't know. Olympics has some weird rules.
Yeah, they definitely want him to use one hand here. There's that classic Reddit comment where someone's mansplaining the gold medalist about how to hold her Olympic pistol and how if she pulls the trigger there, it'll snap her tiny woman wrist in half. And somebody's like, that's the Olympic gold medalist, Susie Straight Shooter. Actually, I think she knows how to hold her gun.
Wow, what a tard. He's like that one guy 8 years ago who was like writing an op-ed for the New York Times, and he's like, this weekend I fired an AR-15 and I'm still crying. And it's like, oh, this is the most, why would you publish this? Why was no editor at the New York Times like, hey, Steve, I just want to give you a call and be level with you. This is the most embarrassing set of words and sequence I've ever seen in my life. Please don't make me publish this. You look like a dummy. That gun you're crying about, here's a 4-year-old shooting it and laughing.
Hey, do you know if the Korean lady, what she plays? Because I know the Turkish guy on the left there, he took the silver medal. Like,
silver?
That was the big story.
Who won?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
In this one.
I'm wondering if is it even split by sex? Like, I don't know. Like, where
that wasn't the New York Times, by the way. I was really? Did they do that bullshit?
I just picked a popular publication.
I've never heard of the New York Daily News, but I have heard of this article that you're talking about.
I guess it did its job. We're still talking about it 9 years later.
I think that being an Olympic shooter is not very hard, like to make the team and get over there to compete, because I saw an article today about this lady who was an Olympic gymnast, but like for whatever reason, she couldn't continue with her career. Maybe she got too old, injured, or whatever. So she just transitioned to the shooting team, and it's like, okay. All right, you just slid right over, and now you're the person we send to shoot. I don't know. I think if you want to go, they'll you want to come? Sure. Yeah, come on, pile in.
I saw people saying that America wasn't doing too hot in the shooting competition,
really
and it's like, yeah, no shit. We shoot real guns. Like, we don't shoot playthings like that. We don't have time for it. Do you know anyone who owns
about?
What are you talking about?
that little thing you saw them holding?
There are dozens of shooting events. There's skeet shooting.
I saw 2 stills and my mind is made up.
And by the way,
America's not doing well in the shooting precision competition because we're not
they're
shooting
standing
precisely.
one-handed and the bullets are touching. The holes are fucking touching down.
Wait,
there.
there's real 3-gun and stuff too?
I don't know anything about Olympic shooting. I just know that like these people are representing us. That's an athlete.
I just don't buy into the excuses. Oh, Americans are too busy to do well in Olympic shooting. Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
We have all the cool guns here.
We're
Look
clearly
at
not
this thing.
prioritizing it. Like it's clearly we're clearly not prioritizing it. You know what an Olympic gold medalist gets paid? Like what the U.S. gives them cash monies?
It should depend on how much they win.
A gold medal.
Oh,
I think it depends on the event
amount, right?
I think it's the same. I think gold medal pays a flat amount.
I didn't know it paid. Okay, I'm gonna guess 30,000 because I think I heard
$37,000.
Okay,
one-time payment.
That's yeah.
Like, I wonder if the teams have to split it. Like, if there's a 4x100 relay team, do they all get 30 grand for their goals?
They all get 37 grand each. Surely,
right. And so the basketball team, everyone gets 37 grand. I bet there's
100%.
LeBron's like, now I got $1,037,000,000.
37 genuinely doesn't pay for their dinner. Like
I heard the basketball team 15 million for their like place that they're not staying in the Olympic Village. They're staying someplace better.
Of course they are.
Some athletes are chasing
those Olympic villages look like dorm rooms.
So Zach just posted this. Yeah. Huge gold medal bonuses, and it varies depending by country. Singapore pays $737,000 per gold, and Canada a mere 16.
Gold. How many golds is Singapore coming out?
Maybe that's why they're so confident. They're like, yeah, take a fucking $1 million, sure. Not at all prepared.
Those unpatriotic Canadians.
Italy, 213,000. Malaysia, Kazakhstan, $250,000. You know what you can do with $250,000? You can buy a good portion of Kazakhstan. Yeah, please.
That's a lot of goats.
It is. Well, I mean, what else are they going to do? I think it's the world's largest landlocked country, right?
I have no idea. I know it's an enormous country, though.
I thought it was like Wakanda, like just a country that existed in movies.
Yeah, didn't think it was real. Oh man, I didn't know Borat was based. It's so funny how much they hated the Borat movie. And if you were a Kazakh, I think that's what they're called. Like it would be insulting. Like they're like, what the fuck? Like, why are you bullying us? Like we're literally a group. The Kazakhs. What are we even up to? We don't even know. Like, we're not involved in fighting.
The Kazakhstani government spent millions of dollars trying to repair the tourism and reputation damage that the Borat movie caused. Because, you know, they would not just make fun of them with made up off the top of their head gobbledygook. They would take Kazakhstani culture and twist it a little. So Borat drank fermented goat piss. That was like the drink of Kazakhstan, fermented goat piss. And actually, it's fermented goat's milk, which isn't that much better when you try to explain. Like, no, do not listen to Borat. We do not drink the fermented piss.